This is a 1932 Crosley Model 158 7-tube superheterodyne cathedral-type radio. It is an AM broadcast only with an IF frequency of 181.5 kilohertz. It's in reasonably good shape for a 94-year-old radio. The power cord is cut. It appears complete, has all the knobs, and even has a back cover that looks intact. It is the usual dirty and dusty, but not crazy filthy, hopefully. It is likely in non-working order due to its age, so we will investigate and repair this relatively rare radio back to working condition. So if this interests you, stay tuned. Alrighty, I wanted to see if I could get my other kitty on camera. This is Binky. She's a shy kitty, but she's my baby, and she's checking out our Crosley 158. Yeah. I put some catnip up here to see if I could entice her to stick around for a minute. So, anyway, we'll get back to the radio. I just want to do a little history on this radio and the Crosley Corporation. It was founded by Paul Crosley, Jr., in Cincinnati, Ohio, and became the world's largest radio manufacturer back in 1925. Paul Crosley entered the market in 1921 after being shocked by the $130 price tag of a simple radio, which is actually $2,353 in today's money. He was once dubbed the Henry Ford of radio, as he applied mass production techniques to create affordable radios. The Crosley 158 was known as the Septet and sold in two cabinet styles, the Septet Cathedral and Tabletop model, or the Tabletop model for $29.99, which is the one like ours, and the Septet Lowboy, which was the floor console version for $39.99. The Septet was part of the Crosley's greatest values in radio marketing push during the Great Depression, which specifically targeted customers who wanted high performance, such as a 7-tube heterodyne circuit, at the lowest possible price. The $29.99 price tag in 1932 was equivalent to $690 today, and even though those prices were considered low at the time, most radios were considered luxury items during that era. For a comparison, other brand 6-tube sets were retailing for as much as $58.95 back in 1932, so they were about half the price of their competitors. So that's just a little history on the Crosley and the 158, and we get to see Binky. So let's get into our radio. Well, I hope you enjoyed meeting Binky, and I had mistakenly said my other kitty. She's my only kitty. I had two kitties. Smokey passed away a few months ago, so it's just Binky now. So, anywho, let's check out this radio. What attracted me to it was this I had looked at a few pictures of this model on the interweb, and I didn't see any with a back. And just looking at it, it's really the first time I've had a chance to look at it. I thought it was wood, but it's actually a big piece of copper, it looks like, or brass. So that must have been maybe scrapped during the Depression. I don't know. But let's, wow, even the wing nuts are, well, they're copper coated or brass or something. Like I said, I didn't see a single picture of one with a back on it, so I don't know what the deal is. So, oh, we got a couple of oh, those are glued on. Huh. All right. I thought those were the volume felts. This must be packing from shipping, which I appreciate. Someone took the time to try to ensure this radio got to us in one piece. So let's take a look. Our last radio we did was a Mouse House fiasco. So there's something on there. I don't know. That white stuff there. If that's mouse poo-poo or what. Oh, yeah, there it says the septet. I'll be darned. Well, it's got all the tubes. It's got some labels on it. Labels on the tubes. Huh. Let's see what they what the little labels say. National Union, the sign of efficiency. Huh. I'll be darned. Well, we'll need to get this, set that down. Need to get it out of the case, and, well, it's quite a speaker in there. Quite the setup. 3-gang tuner. We got the shields intact. All right, just the cord cut. Hopefully in unmolested condition. That's the way we like them. The speaker is secure. The cabinet is getting a little raggedy. Needs to be glued back together. But let's get it out of the case and have a closer look. I ran into my first difficulty here. So these knobs are on freaking tight. And there's no set screw or anything in them. So those knobs have not been off for a long time. So they're wooden knobs, and they probably have a metal D-clip in them that's rusted to the shaft. So I'm going to use some liquid wrench and try to dab it down in there to loosen them up, because I don't want to break anything. You can sometimes get a spoon behind it and pry them off, but I don't know. Let's try the liquid wrench for a little bit. All right, this is a close-up of the one knob that you can kind of see the shaft, and it's kind of rusty. So we'll dab some liquid wrench in there. These little deals you can get on Amazon. I forget what they're called. Microbrush. And they work good for getting in tight spaces. So we'll soak these down for a little bit and hopefully loosens it up. All right, I got the tuning dial knob off, and I'm mistaken. These are Bakelite. They're not wood. And what I did is I just kind of rocked it back and forth as such and slowly teased it off there. So we'll take a wire brush and clean that later. These bottom knobs are pressed on further, so it's tougher to get the liquid wrench in there, so I'm going to let that sit a little bit more. Alright, this is one of the bottom ones, and I've been putting our liquid wrench just on the flat side. That's the only part that has a metal insert contact. So wiggling it and pulling has got it out maybe a 1/16 of an inch, but this liquid wrench is helping. Oh boy. Hey, there we go. Come on, baby. Come on, come on. Ooh, that's tight. I'll put some more rust. Super penetrant in there. Oh man, come on. She's coming. Almost. Oh. Woo. Yeah, baby. All right. Oh, what the hell? Is that a frickin' mouse turd? Ah, this one better not be mouse house number 2. How in the hell could a mouse turd get there? Let's see, just parked his butt right up against there and squeezed one in. Ugh. All right, this is the last one. Oh, come on, we don't want to break it. Oddly enough, that one looks the cleanest, but it is tight. All right. We don't want to force anything, so give it a little more time to soak in there. So looking at this shaft, I hope you can see there's some grind marks on there, and I get a feeling that might be a replacement pot. So if that was a round shaft that they ground a slot in for the knob to fit on, that might be a tight fit. Because I don't see any rust on that shaft. So I'm just going to have to, I mean, it hasn't budged at all. I'm just going to have to keep working it. I've been working it. It's moved a few thousandths, but it is tight. Hopefully that movement isn't the shaft yanking out of the pot, but I tried putting a couple spoons behind it, and well, I don't know. It's really flexing that metal. So I'm just going to keep working it. Wish me luck. All right, we got it.
It was very tight. Well,
You can see the very tip of it was quite rusty. So that liquid wrench eventually soaked its way in there, and oh man, that's a sigh of relief. Alright, what you see there is one of the 4 screws holding the speaker to the cabinet. And we have to remove the speaker because evidently in 1932 they didn't invent speaker plugs to plug into the chassis. And of course, these threads are rusty, and I got it moving a little bit. It's just going to be a back and forth, clearing the rust off the threads while trying not to break the screw. So I put a clean nut on here to chase the threads, and that's one way you can clean your threads so you don't break off your threaded screw. All right, I'm beginning to dislike this radio. They used locking screws. There's a little plastic washer there that hangs up on the threads and makes it really difficult to get these out. And the other side of the cabinet, it's a little bronze head on there, and it strips in the wood and turns, so you got to try and grab it and hold it. So I'll tell you what, if this is the trend this radio is going to have, it's going to be a long time getting this thing going. Man, I can't tell you what a pain in the ass that was. Holy Toledo. What I did do that helped a lot is I took one of the nuts that I had. I forget what they're number 6 screws, and I cut a slot in it, and then I squeezed it together to make it tight as a thread chaser. So these that I ran on there the first time, the tolerances of I imagine those screws are made in China, just not very good, so I needed a chaser, and that helped a ton. So time for the big reveal to see what the underside looks like. Hold on just one sec. So let's flip it over and see what we got. Oh, for the love of Pete. Huh. All right. I'm going to have to make a jig for this real quick so I can stand it up and take this piece of bulletproof plate off of there. Be right back. Alright, she's mounted on a jig, so it should be steady, and that's a square headed screw or nut, or a screw or bolt. Big reveal. Is it going to be virgin-y? Place your bets. Considering I don't think those lock nuts have ever been taken off unless they're replacements. We should be virgin-y in here. Well, I'll tell you, this thing is built like a tank. A square-headed screw for the love of all. Whoo-wee. Oh, my. Well, that is been in a damp environment.
Look at that. Would you look at that? Filthy. Absolutely filthy.
That's not good. Wow. What the heck is that? Huh. Yikes. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't know quite what to say. From what I can see, it's virgin-y, but it's crispy, or crunchy, or hairy. I don't know what exactly you'd call it. It's... Ooh, boy. There's corrosion there. Man, there's corrosion everywhere. And this electrolytic condenser, dry. Well, it's not that dry. Another one down there. Whoo, boy. This is going to be a fun one. I don't know how in the world where are we going to clean that up. Needs to be bead blasted. Well, all right. Let me think about this for a minute. All right. I thought I'd get a close-up here for posterity's sake. Oh, man. That is just a mess. I think I rather would have had a mouse house. Maybe not. I don't know. So I'm just going to take about 2,000 Q-tips and some sunset grain alcohol and just start cleaning and see what we got. So I got a Q-tip and started cleaning some of these wires. So this coating on here is a really fine dust. I'm not sure how it got so dusty inside, but I said 2,000 Q-tips. It may be more like 5,000, but just gonna one by one clean. I could use a brush and it comes off, but I don't want to be inhaling that dust, so I'd rather get it wet and try and swab it off. So we'll see how it goes. All right, that's about 45 minutes of Q-tipping, and it's a hell of a lot better. You can see what's what. I mean, before it was just a furry mess. I mean, it's still a mess, but I can read the capacitors now, and yeah, I'll probably give it a second going over, but it's at least manageable now. So I'm going to map out what everything is and where it's located, and get a game plan for how we're gonna put replacement parts in here, because there's a lot of them. There's these tin cans, which I assume there's a couple back behind there. Oh, there's one up there. But anyway, those probably have capacitors in them, so this is going to be a fun one. Alrighty, we are back, and I went through and mapped this whole thing out, and I had originally thought this was unmolested. It's been molested, that's for sure. And probably some of the keener-eyed people noticed that, but anyway, there's a lot going on. A lot needs fixing. So we'll go through these two wires go to the switch. Switch doesn't work. On-off switch doesn't work. And this is the tone pot. Tone pot completely dead. The volume pot, I think, has been replaced because these older radios have these Bakelite potentiometers. So this is a 750 ohm resistor, and someone paralleled in, I think that's a 460 ohm. I'm not sure why. That needs to be fixed. And then there's this burned resistor, which that threw me for a loop, because then there's these other two resistors right by it. And what I figured out is this one burned up, then they put in this is a two-piece or two-section resistors, and they put these two in, and they didn't put the right values in. So that's bad. There's a solder joint here. That's bad. So I think that cap has been replaced. That resistor likely been replaced. And speaking of capacitors, these are this one, there's one there. I think that's the only one, but anyway, they have three leads. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and some of them are common lug, where the lug is this is one side, the other side, then the two tied together. Then I think it's this one where it goes, there's one capacitor this way, and there's another capacitor this way. That is quite confusing. I don't know why they ever put things like that in there. But yeah, those need to be replaced. Oh, and these cans, I thought originally were potted capacitors or something. Those are the coils. And boy, I think I owned most of them out. They all seem to be okay, which is good. And then these are the IF excuse me, trimmers, for the cans, for the coils, and I think that's it. I have to order some parts. There's some odd size resistors, and normally I try to power up the radio and see if it's going to work with what's in there, and just in case there's something catastrophically wrong with it. But in this case, that's really not going to be an option, I think. I mean, there aren't that many components to it, and I guess we could always remove them if it doesn't work. So I'll test the tubes, ohm out all the coils, make sure they're good. I should ohm out the transformer too, make sure that's good. And start replacing a lot of parts in here. So it's just interesting that resistors, this one and this one, failed, and I think this is the only capacitor they replaced, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, we'll get some parts ordered and start replacing parts. Well, instead of waiting for parts to come in, I thought I'd try and patch this thing together with stuff I got to see if it works before investing in a parts order. So I cut out this dual resistor here, and I'll show you that on the schematic. It's let's see, right there. It's a 10K and 15K. So they just left that in there. Then they put these two resistors in. This is supposed to be the 15K. That's supposed to be the 10K. So for 15K they used 12K, and for 10K they used a 20K. So I went to measure, just check the resistances to see if I could use those resistors. And let's see, the 12K, I believe, was 12K. Yeah. And the 15K is, I can clip it on there. 15K is open. So that's not good. That's a voltage divider supplying, I think, the screens for a couple tubes and the plate of one. So there's like a shiny end of that resistor, so I think that just burned up and got hot. So I'm going to put in a couple resistors and some of these electrolytics and some of the paper capacitors, and maybe we'll try firing it up. And oh, good news on the tube front, I tested them all, and they all tested damn near brand new. So I wonder, before this thing was shelved, if they bought all new tubes, because they all tested really good. So I'm going to do a little work here, and we'll report back. Okay, I got, I believe, all the bad components replaced. I don't even know where to start. I've never had a radio with just so many bad components. I was ready to start filming. I figured the pot was good. It was bad. I had to replace that. And this tone switch is, or tone control is obviously wonky. The power switch doesn't work, so I just have it directly connected, and multiple open resistors. Those electrolytics just completely dried up and cooked. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens when we fire this thing up. So I guess here goes nothing. So we'll monitor our B plus. I don't even remember what that's supposed to be. I think, crap, 250 volts. So we'll give a bulb, and I'm just gonna bring it up slow just because of possible shorts. Bulb a little bit lit. That's a good sign. No DC voltage whatsoever. Huh. About 60 volts AC and no DC voltage whatsoever. Oh. Oh, I was starting to get worried there. $70 volts AC. 80 volts AC. 100 volts. We're obviously current limited by the bulb. Wow, this is so far going well. That's 105 AC, 110 AC, 115 AC. I don't see anything smoking. That's good. All right, that's about 118 volts AC. We're limited to about 60 volts. So let's give it a bulb. So nothing out of the speaker. Of course, it's in a box, so I don't poke a hole in it. Huh. I would think I'd be able to hear something through that box. Oh, and the pot's a 3 meg. I couldn't find a 3 meg. That's a 2 meg. That should, in theory, work. Let me turn down our voltage and give it another bulb. Well, that's not a good sign. So, well, my new diode bulb is lit. Let me poke around a little bit. We'll see what I find. Ha! It literally took me 2 seconds. That antenna was not making good contact. I'll be damned. What? Where are we at on the dial? I'll be damned. That should be WLS. No, actually, that's WLS. See if it gets my local station. There it is.
The state and locals know the environment so much
Ha!
better than federal officials
Settle down.
ever will. So I think it's really important that Tom Holman focus on the restoration.
Well, it actually works. It actually works. This is not the recommended way to do this because these components are just most of them are just tacked into place. But I'll be darned. I mean, it sounds good. I mean, that's the speaker sitting in a box. Huh. All right. Well, the next step is to got to get a 3 meg pot. I got to get a tone pot. That's 80K. Yeah. All right. We'll be back. Okay, we're back. I got some things buttoned up on the radio, tidied up. It may look a little bit flimsy, but everything is pretty solid. So ideally, I would have liked to put a hard point or two back around here, but I couldn't find a good place to mount a terminal strip. But it should be okay. Some of the other components that were in there originally were really flopping around, so I think it'll be all right. Good enough. But anyway, the potentiometers, this pot here is an 80K, which is an oddball. So I happened to find a bag of a couple 75Ks, and I'll show you on the close-up camera here. So the 75K I had were like this, long shaft and no switch. So I dug through my stash, and I'll tell you what, the last box I looked in, I found a switch that would work on that. So I just took the case off of it and put the switch on. It's a Claristat, I believe. But so I had to file the end and cut the shaft, and I'll just show you a couple pictures of how that went here. So just started filing, just a little bit at a time until we got to the place we wanted to be. And let's see the next one. Here we're about 80% through, and I'm just checking it with the caliper every once in a while. It doesn't necessarily file that even, so you have to lean on one side, then lean on the other side, and that's it finished. And it went really good. Just cut the shaft off and it's good to go. And like I said, so this is 75K, that'll be fine. 100K would have been fine, probably 150K. Just for tone control, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And then I found a new 2 meg, and I have to cut the shaft on that one to fit, and we should be good to go. So I'll get that done, and the chassis component replacement and tidy up should be just about done. Alrighty, we got our tone control switch in and potentiometer. Got the rest of the components buttoned up nice and tight. These top few I have to finish up when I get this pot cut and soldered permanently, if permanently is the right word to use. But anyhoot, I did play around with this a little bit, and I noticed that you got to turn the volume. That's full volume, and it's that way on all the stations. So I'm thinking it needs to be aligned. So I'm like, well, that's no problem. Now I have my Marconi that I can get the oddball. What is this? 181.5 kilohertz. And then I start looking around, and I remember the trimmers are on top there. But of all the craziness, let me show you here. The trimmers have hex nuts. Hopefully you can see that there. That's a hex nut. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So you don't want to use a metal socket on there because it's going to screw it up. Not damage it, but it's going to interfere with the alignment. So I start looking online for a plastic 1/4 inch hex nut tool. None to be found. That I could find anyway. So I posted the question on the antique radios, and someone had said, what did they say? Oh, you can take a piece of plastic tubing, heat it up, fit it over a nut, and I tried that, but it didn't work too good. It wasn't sturdy enough. And then someone thankfully posted to use a 5/16 cap screw with a 1/4 inch drive, a nylon one. That wasn't that easy to find, but I did find some. And so the 1/4 inch hex that normally goes in there, we can use to drive it. So I went to slide it on, and it didn't go down all the way, so I had to drill a relief hole in the top, and I was going to make some sort of a handle for it. And then with my my skill knife set, one of the handles has a 5/16 thread, so I just threaded that in there real tight, and now we have our tool that we can adjust the pots. How about that for being resourceful and clever? So there's still an outside chance that that 2 meg pot is doing some sort of impedance mismatch, needs to be 3 meg, but I doubt it because I've mixed similar value pots and it hasn't been a problem. So we will try aligning it and see if that wakes it up a little bit. So let me get set up for that and we'll be back. Okay, I got it set up. I hope you can hear the tone. I have the mic right by the speaker. And in the top left corner is the Marconi settings. I just have it loosely coupled to the antenna wire. And pretty strong signal, plus almost 18 dBm. I just kind of turned it up till I could hear it. So that's pretty deaf. So just beware that 1K tone might really go up if these are out of whack. So be prepared to get your ears blasted. So the two on the left are the second IF. There's only one first IF. And I think I said, if I didn't, I did ground the stator of the oscillator on the tuning cap. So let's see. I put a little black mark on here so I can kind of see what's what. All right. Oh, and I don't have a meter hooked up. I'm just going to do this by ear. Not really doing much. That's not fitting very well. There we go. Try the first IF. Well, that didn't really seem to do a whole lot. I might put the input signal on a different spot. Let me work on that. I'll be right back. Okay, I goofed up. I had the wrong gang of the tuning cap marked as the oscillator, so our signal was going poo-pooed. So, and I also got my meter out because this Marconi, the fan, is really loud and it's kind of hard to hear. So anyway, let's see, hopefully the mic is picking up the tone. Well, that one was off quite a bit. Turn our signal down. All right. I guess that one was pretty close. Oop. All right. So that, I guess we can check the second one real quick. Alright. That ought to do the alignment. It was pretty close. So I need to get the shaft cut on there. And I think we're almost done. Alright, let's just check the reception real quick here and see. We'll start at the top of the dial, see if we're better. Oh, yeah. That was 1420 local. It's picking up some faint stations in between. I don't know what is. So that's WLS. Bunch of stuff I don't know. WGN comes in good. Score 670. So it's not bad. I did bump the voltage up that I had it set to with my variac, and that did bring the volume up a bit too. So it was a combination. I had too low a voltage, and it never hurts to do a IF alignment. So all right, let me get cutting on that shaft there. Okay, I got the volume pot trimmed. Got it put back in the case. And we're going to call this a wrap. The cabinet we'll do again hopefully one day when the weather gets better and warmer. So just to review, we had some really tight knobs that were quite difficult to get off. It was a miracle we got them off without breaking anything. And the speaker nuts, I don't know if I mentioned this, but these are lock nuts. They got little plastic inserts in it, so that's part of the reason the doggone things came off. And then when we finally got into it, the corrosion from the capacitors and the dust, it was just a filthy mess. So got it cleaned up pretty good, mapped out the circuit, started looking into the components, a bunch of bad resistors, a bunch of bad capacitors. And I usually like to power these up first and see if they work before I put the components in, but I took a gamble and shotgunned it, and the thing actually worked and works pretty darn good. And like I mentioned earlier, the tubes all tested like new. I don't know if someone it stopped working and they tried to put a bunch of tubes in, and it sounds pretty good, especially when the speaker's out of the box and it's not muffled. So, and then we just basically, because I had the components just slightly tacked in, put everything in nice and neat and solid, and did an alignment, IF alignment, and then we had to make this tool to do this stupid hex nuts on the IF trimmers. So it's really quite a nice looking radio. The dial lights up nicely, and I'm quite pleased with it. It was fun to work on, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thanks for watching.